Okay, let's jump right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we are unpacking a really fascinating diagnostic framework known as the 5-gate code. Now, if you're a man, or honestly, literally anyone who's looking for a map to get out of that constant, exhausting state of urgency and find your way back to a calmer, more regulated nervous system, this is absolutely for you. We're going to be digging into a brilliant source document called The Passage from Conquest to Reverent Strength. And what it does is offer us a highly practical pathway out of dysregulated survival adrenaline and into something much more grounded. Our starting point completely flips everything we've been taught about masculine power right on its head. Just listen to this. The laborers are not asking the masculine to conquer life. They are asking the masculine to become safe enough to protect life. Think about that for a second. True strength isn't actually about brute force, right? It's not about dominating your environment or just aggressively capturing whatever you want. It's actually about systemic responsibility. It's about doing the internal work to become a safe, coherent vessel. So, to get us there, here is our roadmap for today. Reclaiming the 12 labors, exiting the conquest hunt, the 5-gate code itself, navigating the cultural trap, and we'll wrap up with the daily octave and practices. Section 1. Reclaiming the 12 labors. You know the old myth of Hercules, right? The old distortion frames his story purely through the lens of physical conquest. Slaying monsters, dominating, and proving your worth through sheer force. But the source material reveals a much deeper architecture here. These aren't just stories about domination. They are actually internal initiations into responsibility. From those original 12 lessons of Hercules, 5 very specific labors have been extracted to form a highly concentrated modern map. These are stages of guidance specifically designed to heal where that old forceful patriarchal conditioning has wounded our bodies, our relationships, and our own psychology.
Section 2. Exiting the conquest hunt.
So, what exactly is the conquest hunt? Well, modern dysregulated force loves to hide inside of overwork and urgency. Our collective nervous system has literally been trained to hunt. We hunt the outcome, we hunt the money, we hunt the lover, the perfect body, the grand vision, even the next holiday. It is a frantic, exhausting loop, and it keeps us entirely trapped in survival adrenaline. If we want to find actual reverent strength, we have to consciously choose to exit this pursuit. Section 3. The 5-gate code. All right, here are the 5 extracted stages of this reclamation map: attunement, containment, clean mirror, stewardship, and retrieval. We are going to walk through each of these gates right now, and for each one, I'm going to give you a very brief, actionable daily practice. Gate 1 is the Cryneian hind. In the original myth, this was an incredibly fast, sacred deer. The old distortion here is the thrill of the chase, hunting the sacred, trying to force it, trying to capture it. But the new blueprints? That is attunement. This first gate exposes the core wound of a misaligned approach. You absolutely must drop the frantic pace. You have to learn to match your own sovereign biological time before you make any decisions. You slow down until the urge to hunt just dissolves. The whole vibe of this gate is captured perfectly in this working phrase: what is sacred does not need to be captured to be known. So your daily practice for Gate 1 is incredibly simple but powerful. Stop chasing. Just drop the pace. Let your nervous system exit pursuit mode entirely before you make your very next move. Let's move on to Gate 2, and you'll see how this builds. Gate 2 is the Cretan bull. The old distortion here is either weaponizing your raw power through explosive rage and dominance, or, on the flip side, being so terrified of that power that you numb out and totally suppress it. The new blueprint is containment. True power doesn't destroy the bull, but it also doesn't run away from it. It learns to hold intense, raw power, whether that's potency, anger, or creative fire, without destructively leaking it out all over the place. I absolutely love this anchor phrase. My fire is sacred when my vessel is steady. Your actionable daily practice for containment is to practice sitting with intense emotion. When you feel desire, anger, or massive creative force, just hold it cleanly. Don't immediately vent it, don't perform it, and don't suppress it. Let your vessel become strong enough to carry that fire without burning the house down. Which naturally leads us to Gate 3, the belt of Hippolyta. Hippolyta represents feminine authority and sovereignty. The old distortion is approaching this with projection, competition, or even war, basically feeling threatened by someone else's sovereignty and needing to control or reduce it. The new blueprint is the clean mirror.
This is all about meeting sovereignty eye to eye. You pause in moments of relational tension to see what is actually happening right now in front of you, without projecting all your old wounds onto the present moment.
And here is your working phrase for Gate 3. I do not need to diminish sovereignty in order to keep my own. Your daily practice here is to meet people without defensive posturing. When relational tension flares up, just pause before you defend yourself. Meet the other person cleanly, without this exhausting need to win or defeat them.
Moving on to Gate 4, we have the apples of the Hesperes. The old distortion here is the extractive mindset, plundering the garden. It's seeing life force, or fruit, or resources, and just wanting to hack the system, bypass the dragon guardian entirely, and just take what you want. But the new blueprint is stewardship. You shift from wanting to steal the fruit to actually standing beside the guardian. You enter sacred life through right relationship. You become a protector, not a plunderer.
Your daily anchor for Gate 4 is right here. I enter the garden as a steward, not a thief. So your daily practice is to protect the garden. Before you walk into a room and ask, what can I take from this situation, this relationship, or this project, you stop and ask, what am I feeding here? Finally, we reach Gate 5, Cerberus, the guardian of the underworld. The old distortion is fleeing the dark at all costs. We avoid discomfort using toxic positivity, artificial brightness, or we just numb out entirely through endless digital scrolling and compulsive productivity. The new blueprint is underworld retrieval. The mature masculine descends into the dark, not to glorify suffering, mind you, but to retrieve fragmented parts of the self, things like lost innocence, unexpressed grief, or ancestral memory, and bring them all the way home. The final working phrase is really profound. I can descend without disappearing. Your daily practice for Gate 5 is to retrieve from the dark. Safely sit with your discomfort long enough to actually integrate its data. Don't just scroll past it. Bring that emotional data back up into conscious integration. Section 4. Navigating the cultural truck. You might not realize this, but the U.S. holiday calendar actually serves as an unconscious training field that pulls our nervous systems right out of regulation. Think about it. Memorial Day should be about attuning to a biological rhythm, but culture distorts it into this forced summer adrenaline rush. The 4th of July should be about containment, but it literally becomes explosive fire leakage. By the time we hit Christmas, which historically and biologically should be a time for deep winter retrieval, we usually just get an artificial numb-out of forced cheer and crazy consumer frenzy. The work here isn't to reject the calendar entirely, but to consciously wake up and choose the original gate medicine inside of it. Section 5. Daily Octave and Practices. The source material calls this final piece the daily octave. It's meant to be a living diagnostic observatory. Because look, this isn't just abstract mythology meant to make you sound smart at parties. It is a highly practical daily tool. It's for recognizing which pathway is currently active in your life right now, noticing exactly where the cultural conquest script is trying to hijack your nervous system, and intentionally choosing coherence instead. So as you go through your day today, whenever you feel that familiar spike of survival adrenaline creeping in, I want you to use these questions to pivot. Ask yourself, do I chase or do I attune? Do I leak power or do I contain it? Do I project or do I actually meet them? Do I extract or do I steward? Do I bypass or do I retrieve? You really don't have to master this whole system at once. Just recognize the next turn in your day. The real question I want to leave you with is this. When that adrenaline hits, what will you choose to do at your very next gate? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time.